Okay, so let's talk a little bit about setup and mechanics. Setup is really fast. When you open up your scenario book, you'll have like some description. Then you have the forces. I've laid them out here already. It includes one or two party members, which I am going to have Frida involved in this one here, and that's the only one I have. So it's only the one party member. And then it says 7 Drog, 1 Troll, and 2 Drog Archers. Well, here I have them, but you're going to invert them so you don't know what they are. This one here is a Huskarl, but I don't know what it is. You'll see in a second what I mean by that. So then you mix them up. Then it talks about what you got to do to place. So it says place your hero on V, which is here. So I'll place her, and then place objective markers on O. Here's an objective marker. I'll put this right away on the round track that tracks your rounds. And then it says to put the doors. So here we go, 1 door here and 1 door here. And then the Huskarl, which is this one, which I don't know what kind they are because it's going to be random what I get. That goes on the M. And then the Drog onto all of the Ds. Again, because there are question marks, I don't know what I will end up with. Other symbol on the map is S1 and S2. That's where spawns occur. According to the round track, when it says S1, S1 spawns. When it says S2, S2 spawns. Now these remain in the zombie pool, which you can put wherever you want. You can stack them or however. Let's say we can set them aside. And then it tells you where the spawns are, like I discussed. Your objectives, in this case, rescue the Huskarl and get off the map at the arrow, which is over here. You have a secondary objective where you can search this objective area to find some cool stuff when you will then roll. And then it gives some rules and stuff along, any special rules and exit and stuff like that. So let's take a quick pause here. Okay, now we're talking mechanics. So we'll place our hero here for the moment so we can talk about movement and attacking. When you activate a character, you have to declare whether they're stationary, walking, running, or performing a special action. If they're performing a special action, that uses their whole turn. That includes things like searching and many different options that may occur during a scenario, which would be covered in the scenario-specific rules, the special rules for that scenario. Now, if she's declared to be walking, she has 3 movement points, and if she's running, she has 6 movement points. And the way movement, it's really simple, pretty much. It costs 1 to move forward, and it costs 2 to move diagonal. You can move in any direction that you like. So this would be 2 to move this way or 2 to move that way. They don't have a facing, so to speak, or arc of fire. They can attack or they see all around. So that's whether it's walking or running, it's either one. The difference is if you're walking or if you're running, you'll have a different basically modifiers. It's harder to hit something when you're running than if you had walked, or it's easier to hit something if you were stationary. So that's the reason why you would choose between different things. If you don't end up actually attacking for the turn, so she moves here walking, and she elects not to attack, and by the way, this would be revealed at that point. Then she would put a marker indicating that she's covering, in this case a 2 for walking. If she had been running, her covering would be 4, and that's a modifier to make it harder to attack. But what it allows you to do, if something moves within range, so if she's just armed hand to hand, as soon as the Draugr moves within range, she can attack it with the modifier, and that'll give her a chance to attack and kind of defend in that way. And that's what happens with your attacking. If you haven't performed your attack during your actual turn of activation. The Draugr move is very simple. Whether you can see them or not, they just move 1 square in any direction when it's their turn to activate. Sometimes, as we get in more advanced scenarios, they might move faster depending on leaders and stuff like that, or some special scenario rules. But basically, they just move 1. Now, when it comes to attacking, you need to be, within range of your target. In some cases, obviously hand to hand, you have to be adjacent to it, not diagonally adjacent, but adjacent. And if if you have a ranged weapon, then of course that you can, like a bow and arrow or whatever, you can then attack at range. But they all work the same way basically. If you can see here, this is an axe, and what we have here is the rate of fire of 1, like an axe would be. Some things have higher rates of fire, for example, throwing knives and flails. Then you'll have these two numbers here, which reflect your hand-to-hand values of hitting. In this case, they're identical. And you can either stun or wound. A stun on a 4 or wound on a 7 with the axe. Its range here, as you see, is 1, and H indicating it's hand-to-hand. The little star up here means you can carry it in your offhand. So the axe is small enough. If you want, you can carry 2 axes. And if you do have 2 axes, you can do some special actions with that. It gives you some bonuses. And so what you would do, she would, for example, on her turn, she was walking, she would move here. Then we know that if she's using a C axe, and that is also 4/7. So she would then roll against the Draugr if she wants to attack. So she's moved 1 here. She attacks, she rolls a 2, which is a miss. And she can spend a second movement to move here. So she can break up her movement with attacks. If she had managed to roll a 4 to 6, 4, 5, or 6, then she would have stunned it, and you would have placed a stun marker. And all a Draugr can do when they activate, if they're stunned, is remove the stun. So it's good to stun them. 1, because it's actually easier to hit them if they're stunned. And secondly, that's all they can do for the turn, so you're basically slowing them down. You'll have plenty of other things to worry about. And that is basically the real basics on how attacking works. If it was at a range and she had a bow, let's see, she's got a sling. Then you can see here, her range is, it says 4 here. So 4 indicates that is the point blank range. So anything within 4, you use the 7 to 10 value here for stun wound, for stunning and wounding. Now, if she's farther away, every 1 square beyond 4, she'll add 1 to her chance. So if she was 5 away, she'd have an 8 and 11, and then she'd have to roll that. You have to have line of sight, of course, and other than that, though, it's pretty straightforward. Now, how do the Draugr attack? Well, the first turn, when they move adjacent to a hero, that's it. They end their turn because they can just move 1 square. The next turn, if they're still adjacent to them, they will lock the hero, and you will put a lock marker on them. Now, if you have the book set or the travel set, you'll have these little markers. You'll also have these in the box set. But if you get the box set, you'll have these special action status dice. Oh, that's also in the deluxe, of course. So you don't have to have all the little markers. You can just flip this one around. It does different things. So let's say they were locked. This means that you've attacked, but we haven't attacked right now. We've been coming locked. So that's what would happen here. So the first thing to do is move next to you. The next turn, they lock you. The next turn, if you're locked by it, you'll just take 1 damage right off the top. So 1 damage, every turn that you're locked with them, you'll do 1 damage. If there's another Draugr, then you'll take 2 damage. So as you can see, even though they move slow, once they get you, it can get very dangerous. In this case, because you only have 4 health. So 2 turns of that and you're gone. You're able to heal between scenarios, though. And that's basically how they work. Although the archers, where's an archer hiding around here somewhere? There's an archer. They can attack range, so they will move until they have a chance to attack, and then the next turn they will attack. If they start their turn with a hero in sight, then their turn is used to attack. So basically, if they can't see a hero, they'll move towards one, and then they'll end their turn. And if they can't see a hero, they'll attack it. And then that's their turn. And of course, you'll roll dice for them as well to see what they do. And that is the super basics of how the game works. It's pretty straightforward, but the tactics that you need to do things, whether you're going to spend time to do special actions, do searches, stuff like that. So it really, there's a lot to decide on what you want to do. And of course, the more as the scenarios advance, there's more complicated things that you need to do, like more kind of solutions that you need to do, which makes them more interesting and more challenging. But yeah, I hope this helped. And if you have any questions, please put a comment down below. I'm more than happy to answer all your questions. And I appreciate you guys listening in. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks very much, and ciao for now.